Most people assume financial stability is something that happens once income reaches a certain level. They believe the stress disappears after a promotion, a larger salary, or a better job. Yet if income alone created financial stability, there would not be millions of high earners living paycheck to paycheck. The reality is that financial stability rarely comes from earning extraordinary amounts of money. More often, it comes from following a handful of simple rules consistently over long periods of time. These rules are not complicated. They do not require advanced investing knowledge or perfect market timing. In fact, many financially stable people follow them so naturally that they hardly think about them anymore. The surprising part is that most financial problems can often be traced back to breaking one of these simple rules repeatedly. Imagine two people earning the same income for the next 10 years. One follows a few basic money rules almost automatically. The other ignores them because they seem too simple to matter. A decade later, one has savings, investments, financial flexibility, and significantly less stress. The other is still wondering why financial security always feels just out of reach. The difference is rarely dramatic decisions. It is usually small financial behaviors repeated thousands of times. The first rule is to spend less than you earn, no matter how much you earn. This sounds obvious, yet countless people violate this rule every month. Financial stability becomes impossible when expenses continuously expand to match income. Every raise becomes another excuse to spend more rather than save more. Stable people understand that income creates opportunity, but spending determines whether that opportunity becomes wealth. No budgeting strategy, investment plan, or side hustle can compensate for consistently spending more than comes in. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss future videos from us. With that said, let's get back to the video. The second rule is to build an emergency fund before you think you need one. Most financial disasters are not caused by a single catastrophic event. They happen because a manageable problem occurs when someone has no financial cushion. A car repair becomes credit card debt. A medical bill becomes a loan. A temporary job loss becomes a financial crisis. Financially stable people understand that emergencies are not a question of if, but when. Instead of hoping nothing goes wrong, they prepare for the inevitable disruptions that life eventually brings. The third rule is to avoid lifestyle inflation whenever income increases. One of the most dangerous financial habits is upgrading every part of life after receiving a raise. Better restaurants become normal, more expensive vacations become expected, larger homes begin to feel necessary. The problem is not enjoying success. The problem is allowing expenses to grow as fast as income. Financially stable people often improve their lifestyle gradually while directing a meaningful portion of every raise towards savings, investing, or debt reduction. The fourth rule is to invest consistently rather than waiting for the perfect moment. Many people spend years waiting for the right market conditions, the right amount of savings, or the right level of confidence before investing seriously. Financially stable people understand that consistency often matters more than timing. They know that time in the market is usually more important than trying to predict every market movement. The earlier money begins compounding, the more powerful the results become. The fifth rule is to treat debt carefully. Not all debt is automatically bad, but financially stable people rarely use debt to fund lifestyles they cannot comfortably afford. They understand that every monthly payment reduces future financial flexibility. Debt can quietly steal opportunities long before people realize what is happening. A large debt burden limits investing, reduces savings capacity, and increases financial stress. Stable people borrow cautiously because they value flexibility more than temporary consumption. The sixth rule is to track where money actually goes. Many people believe they understand their spending habits until they review several months of bank statements. Small purchases accumulate quickly. Subscription services multiply. Convenient spending becomes routine. Financially stable people do not necessarily track every dollar forever, but they regularly review their finances to ensure reality matches their assumptions. Awareness alone often prevents expensive financial mistakes. The seventh rule is to separate wants from needs. Modern marketing is extremely effective at making wants feel urgent. New products appear constantly. Upgrades are presented as necessities. Social media creates endless comparison opportunities. Financially stable people pause before major purchases and ask whether they are solving a genuine problem or simply responding to a temporary desire. This habit alone can save thousands of dollars every year. The eighth rule is to protect future income by investing in skills. Financial stability is not only about managing money, it is also about maintaining the ability to earn money. Industries change, technology evolves, job markets shift unexpectedly. Stable people continue learning because they understand that future earning power is one of the most valuable assets they possess. The strongest financial plan becomes even stronger when income potential continues growing. The ninth rule is to avoid comparing finances to other people. This sounds simple, but it becomes increasingly difficult in a world filled with social media highlights and visible consumption. The problem is that people often compare their reality to someone else's appearance. Expensive cars, luxury vacations, and large homes reveal spending, not financial health. Financially stable people focus on their own goals rather than competing with lifestyles they do not fully understand. I'm curious about your experience with this. Which of these money rules has had the biggest impact on your finances so far, or which one do you think is the hardest to follow consistently? Let us know in the comments below. The 10th rule is to automate good financial behavior whenever possible. Human motivation changes constantly. Some months people feel disciplined, and other months they do not. Financially stable people remove as much emotion from the process as possible. Savings transfers happen automatically. Investments happen automatically. Bills get paid automatically. Systems often outperform willpower because systems continue working even when motivation disappears. The 11th rule is to focus on net worth instead of income alone. Income is important, but income without asset growth often creates an illusion of progress. Financially stable people pay attention to what they actually own. They track savings, investments, debt reduction, and overall financial growth. This shifts attention away from appearances and toward genuine wealth building. The 12th rule is to think long term. Many financial mistakes happen because people prioritize short-term comfort over long-term stability. They delay investing, they ignore debt, they avoid saving because the rewards seem distant. Financially stable people understand that today's financial decisions often shape outcomes years into the future. They are willing to sacrifice some immediate gratification because they recognize the value of future freedom. What makes these rules powerful is not their complexity. In fact, their simplicity is exactly why people underestimate them. Most financially stable individuals are not following secret strategies hidden from the public. They are consistently applying basic principles while others repeatedly ignore them. Wealth and stability often grow from ordinary decisions made consistently, rather than extraordinary decisions made occasionally. At the beginning of this video, we talked about two people earning the same income but ending up in very different financial positions. The reason was never income itself. It was the collection of small financial choices made every day, every month, and every year. One person followed simple rules that strengthened financial stability. The other gradually weakened their position by breaking those rules repeatedly. Financial stability is rarely created overnight, but it can be destroyed surprisingly quickly when basic principles are ignored. The encouraging part is that every one of these rules can be applied starting today. You do not need a higher income to spend less than you earn. You do not need perfect market knowledge to invest consistently. You do not need extraordinary wealth to build an emergency fund gradually. The people who seem financially secure are often not doing anything dramatic. They are simply following a few simple money rules long enough for the results to become impossible to ignore. Years from now, the financial situation you experience will likely reflect the rules you followed consistently rather than the income you happen to earn. If you want to keep developing the habits that lead to financial success, check out one of the videos on your screen right now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you there.